Hello and welcome to this week's Hernando County Week in Review for the Hernando County Business Professionals. This week I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I haven't had an episode here on YouTube for a while, and that's primarily due to a few factors, being busy and also not too much to report from you guys having not emailed me. I've gotten in touch with a couple of companies wanting some SEO work done and also doing some advertising on the site. I've created a brochure so you can go and check out the pricing on the ad banners for Hernando County business professionals if you want to advertise on the hernandotourism.com website. And that's hernandotourism.com/sales. And you'll be able to see what the rates are, and it's the same thing as in my brochure, and those rates will be in effect until the end of March, and then we're going to adjust them and see what happens, and if we have to raise them or lower them. And if you're grandfathered in at a lower rate, your rate won't rise. If your current rate is above what it will be, what it would be in the future, then it'll stay. You will be given a break on your next renewal. So until we discover what the best way to do it is so everybody makes money and we're all able to be happy with what's going on. All right, so Hernando County Business Professionals.com still has a great deal of work to be done on it. But today I'm going to talk about search engine optimization. That's really why I'm talking to you today. Search engine optimization is something a lot of people are concerned about, and they'll give me a website that they already have that is not ranking well for a term that they're interested in ranking for. So oftentimes they'll decide that they are going to get a new website, and the problem with the old website is often that it's got 5 different things in there. So if I do computer repair, then I need a website which is more specifically involved with computer repair. There are some big brands that have thousands of backlinks and that are well known and established for a long period of time and that have grown over a period of years, many years, where they've branched out and gone into other areas, and their trust is already there. People trust their brand, they trust the work, they know the people, and they do rank well for multiple things on a single site. But in a lot of areas where you're going to have a specific thing that you're doing, and then you decide to add several different things into it right away, you're going to be dealing with a lot of issues. If you have multiple areas that you're working in, and you want to rank in each one of those areas for the thing that you're, the service that you're providing, then you're going to need to have an address in that area. It doesn't have to be your own address, but people are going to be considering. Google does consider the address that you have on your website. It does consider the knowledge that it has based on your telephone number, your prefix, and the area where that phone number exists and operates. That is your home area. So you're trying to rank in Zephyr Hills when you're actually in Brooksville, or trying to rank in the New Tampa area when you're actually in the Villages. It kind of makes it a little bit tougher, so there are specific things that have to be done. So a lot of clients will say, well, just take the information that I already have on my site and use it in the new website. Well, that's like saying, okay, I have some stuff that's not working. I want you to use that stuff that doesn't work to build a new. Okay, I have a box of computer parts, and I want you to build a new computer out of those parts that are in the box, and none of those parts are working. So I want you to put them into a new computer and make that computer better than the old computer, even though the box that it came out of is all parts that already don't work, and we know it. That's insanity in a way, because it doesn't work that way. First things we have to consider are you're going to need 500 words of brand new content for each one of the pages that you build, and each section that you build is going to have pages 300 to 500 words about that specific thing. So yes, search engine optimization is a lot of work. Search engine optimization is expensive. People will ask, well, how come it's so expensive? Well, search engine optimization is expensive, but it doesn't have to be so expensive. What makes it so expensive is when you get something from somebody and they don't give you what you need to be able to accomplish the goal. If I have to go onto Google and do a search in several different areas for, let's say you're a house painter and you've painted a lot of houses in different areas, so I want to know, well, what streets are those houses on? What buildings? I mean, if you painted the interior of City Hall, I want to know the name of that job so that I can put down the address of City Hall in that area, and maybe have a couple of photographs of the City Hall so that I can put words in those photos and meta tags about those photos that refer to that particular area's City Hall. Otherwise, I'm just making up a bunch of lies, and people are going to call up and say, oh, well, I heard that Bob's painting did painted City Hall over there. How was the job? And they say, well, we never heard of Bob's painting. Well, that's because the SEO had to invent this stuff out of thin air, because just like if you're going to be doing something and you're relying on your client to provide you with something in order for you to complete the job for that client, let's say make them a wedding dress, and they give you some burlap and they say, here, make me a wedding dress. You're not going to get a wedding dress out of that piece of burlap. You're going to need to have some fine material, and you're going to need to have some kind of an idea and provide some information about the type of wedding dress that you want, so that the job is done properly and that it's done well and it's done to your liking. Now, granted, you can't exactly complain about it if you get a burlap wedding dress when you're done, because that's what you gave your seamstress. But at the same time, you're not exactly going to give a rave review about the services of the seamstress for the great job that the seamstress did in making you a great wedding dress. And by the way, here's a picture of it. It's made out of burlap. How does that work? So search engine optimization doesn't have to be that expensive. But the fact is that the longer you delay, and the less information and the less compliant you are with the requests of the SEO, because this stuff is very specific and it is not just throwing things together. I can build a website in 24 hours. I've done it many, many times. A good web builder can build an entire website in one day. So can I. A good SEO cannot build a good website in one day. And he can't do it in a week unless he's given very specific information, enough of it, and he works all day long. So if you're going to have your SEO done, I recommend that you get that information together before you contact your SEO, or once you hire the SEO and decide to put him on the job and give him a down payment. Make sure you get to work on your end, digging out your files for the different areas where you've done your jobs locally and in the extended area. Provide those addresses and let that person then go to work and be a little bit more creative and put together the 500 or 300 word content on each page in the various sections that are segregated from one another, so that you can rank for Pasco and New Tampa and Dade City and so forth and so on, just the way you want. And that's about the best advice I can give anybody. There are 200 factors involved in search engine optimization in the algorithm used by Google. We know what a lot of them are. The forms that are out there that describe and list these 200 different factors that we are aware of, and many of which Google has confirmed are often slightly out of date. So meta keywords, the keyword stuffing area, is no longer a relevant factor in any of the search engines, and there are other areas where you're not dealing with reality when you're looking at these lists. You're dealing with changes that have been made which can actually penalize people, because we have over the years worked in certain areas to help build our own rankings for our clients' websites, and Google eventually sees more and more of it being done in a manipulative type of way where it's not fair, and then they actually begin to penalize for using those factors in any heavy-handed way. And that's why it's important that you hire a professional who's up to date and knows what he's doing, so that you get your work done properly, and not by somebody who's out of date with what's going on and who will make your site worse than it was, or not get your new site ranking as highly as it could be. That's all I have to say. And thanks. This is Dave Curtis here at Hernando County Business Professionals, and the Week in Review for Search Engine Optimization. Thank you.